Good morning, David. I don't know what you're talking about. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't open the chat, so I don't know what people are saying. So I'm gonna have to go to the chat and open the chat and do the pop-out chat. If I can remember how to pop it out. Pop-out chat. Got it. I'm good. I'm good. Hey, it's Ray. Just for you and everyone else. We updated the time so you could actually get here. Text Attack. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Hopefully the button actually works this when I push it, because that'll be a good thing.
When you're hacking up along?
Yeah, you'll hear me, but they won't. So, let's do the button thing first. We're gonna start with the button thing first. Thank you to everybody on this list here. Hell's at the top for tree support, but everybody else on the list, you're super important to the channel. You make the wheels go round.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you want to hang out with us on Discord and such, those are Patreon benefits, and you can join us at patreon.com/3dmakeit. I did it in a YouTuber voice.
That was amazing. Yeah, it's the Discord is a great spot. We have lots of good conversations. Dominic often posts in there. He posted an interesting video about the AMS from the 3D printing professor, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of interesting. How I didn't realize they changed their production of the bamboo stuff after the Kickstarter, and so any of the parts for the AMS are not compatible with the old AMS, the original one.
Oh,
yeah. So that's kind of interesting. But he didn't dislike the printer. He just had problems with the Kickstarter AMS, and then they couldn't fix it for him, really, so they sent him a whole new one because they figured out it was an influencer.
Yes, the influencer conundrum. You gotta keep them happy, you know. If you don't pay your influencer tax, they'll say something bad about you for sure.
Yeah. But we're not big enough to be influencers, so they don't send us stuff.
We're too grumpy to be influencers anyway. You want to do what? No. Get out of town.
No.
I don't think so.
The last time someone sent us something, David got electrocuted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Was that the last time? I think that was the last time.
I think that was the last time event. Yeah.
I think it
first and last time.
Yeah. It was so good. So good.
If you want to watch that video, it's historically in our it's the unboxing video of the Legend.
Yeah,
which you can't buy anymore. Shocker.
No. You couldn't buy it when we did that video, like legit. Like it was toast dead in the water when it started, that thing. Poor printer. I'm just gonna flip to hopefully an intelligent thing here. Yes, I did it. So we have this happening again, the Great Holiday design off. A couple of gift cards for Spool. So overall, it's a bauble design off tchotchke kind of thing with some sort of festivity season celebration. That's as specifically as I want to be for the wintry time. I guess it could be summer for some of you, but you know what? We want to
give back.
Yeah, and so this is like it's a fun little thing to do.
And Derek has kindly from Spool 3D hashtag sponsored this this event again this year, which we thank him so much for doing. There are two $50 Spool 3D gift cards up for grabs, and we'll be awarding that. All the details, dates, and times of when things have to be in so we can print them, and the official closing. If we don't print your thing, but we think it's the winner, that's fine. If you got it in at the deadline versus the print deadline, the print deadline's a little earlier than the deadline, so we can test out the prints and whatnot, so we can show them off live. But yeah, there is the actual hard deadline of the submissions have to be in before, and I think that was what. You have this page up.
Yeah, I was gonna look at that problem. Hold on.
I got
it.
I want to
switch
say
pages to look at the audio. I'll do it in a second, Tex. What do we got? The contest closes December 14th, and the print deadline is the 11th. So we like to print them just beforehand. Pretty simple. 150 by 150 by 150 is the maximum kind of build thing. And then if you want to, you can post your model and share it that way from Thingiverse, or you can just email info and we'll get the STL. I think it'll be just fine there. So
I think you might be a little bit hot.
I see I see the thing. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the button once I figure out which one it is.
All right. So I'll keep talking while he's turning the button.
Yeah.
But yes, Ray, it's still in shambles over to the side over here. So IDEX is something I'd like to do on it, and have not proceeded with that. I think you got farther with your IDEX than we went. We talked about it, and that's where it stopped. I bought And I bought some extrusion specifically for that.
Yeah.
And David and I haven't proceeded with that. We've been doing other things. So
yeah,
it's still a project that's I'd like to do, and I just on the back burner.
I mean, that's what happens to a lot of projects, right? It's just they all pop up and you're like, but it's still on the horizon.
Yeah.
I think better?
I think that's better. I think
it's better. I don't see it so much into the danger zone. So hopefully we'll go with that. All right. So a couple, one big thing, and actually we should probably take it to a bigger conversation. And thankfully the overarching situation involving it has been resolved, but about a week ago, it wasn't very long ago,
the 26th,
the Gina from Octoprint, and we kind of talked about it last week, ironically, but basically Octoprint was not running out of money. They'd lost I think it said 30% of the supporters from, and a lot of it was in the last year, but I guess it's from 2021 when they kind of judged it, but they ran out of money, Greg.
Well, it was threatening to run out of money, and which, when you are an independent doing stuff and you're relying 100% on donations so that you can do a project and you don't have a regular job to supplement, that could be a little scary, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's so if you don't know, it's an open source project, and that's open source often means low or no money coming in except from supporters. And you guys do the same thing for the channel, being Patreons to us, and you can be a Patreon of Octoprint and stuff as well. But I think, how many instances did you say?
So the article said that there were 150,000 active instances of Octoprint. So I mean, I have 1, 2, One, two, three, 4 or 5 instances just around me. And so, I mean, even if I gave $5, I mean,
Yeah, right. And
that's
I have like 9 or something like that, I think, and like we use it off and on at work and stuff. Um, and the one thing that like Octoprint could do, and they haven't, but like it's they could say like, hey, these these features aren't available unless you have a paid version, right? Like give you basic,
right.
but maybe you couldn't install
But
plugins, right? But
I think that's I think they want to avoid that. They want it to be fully open source,
mhm.
fully whatnot. They don't want the paywall. Like, I don't think
Oh
that's
yeah,
the culture that they want to get into.
definitely not.
So
And um I think from the standpoint of um like what we can do to support Octoprint, and like I think I'm not
th-
sure about
they
like text, but I think everybody else in the room definitely has one or two, right? And I
yeah
mean, again, like we use it, and Octoprint's actually like a pillar for a lot of other projects, but we'll talk about that in a second too. But
yeah. Well,
uh,
and maybe as 3D Make It, we should do a one-time contribution or something.
boom,
Um, to say thank you, like we'll talk offline if we want to, what we
yeah,
want to do,
I think we
but
do, but for sure.
but
But supporting's good. But the good news, so like it seemed dire, but then not like 3 days after the original post went out from Octoprint, Gina had posted again that the tragedy has been averted, or I guess the crisis.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, basically, so she put out a funding update saying you guys are amazing, thank you.
mhm,
And so she basically summarized that, that the support and everything was overwhelming. She appreciates everything, and people turned it around. And she didn't specify, if it was just one-time contributions or whatnot. But she did say that her inbox basically exploded with people wanting
mhm.
to help out.
Yeah, and like the other thing too is with that project and some others that are pretty big around 3D printing. Um, it's open source, right? For one, and
Yeah,
we said that, but Gina's not the only one coding on it, and there are people that donate their time
yeah,
um, and expertise um, into actually like making Octoprint happen. Like Octoprint has a base is one thing, and then there's the plugins, and almost everything on top of like the main Octoprint is a plugin. So I think that's of worth like remembering that like even
right.
like all those little snap-ins were developed as plugins into Octoprint. Um, and they do a lot of work to keep it up to date, and there's if you're not clicking the update button, click the update button. But so
Hmm.
and that's why Gina said like in her public thank you, she does say that's why we're open source. That's the
Yeah,
bones and the meat and the potatoes, and we don't want to change that. So I
and
mean,
and and she did actually, going into that, she also mentioned in there that sponsoring or contributing from GitHub
mhm,
sponsors is where the bulk of her money comes from. So her previous post, she had a number of ways you could support, whether it was Patreon or whatnot. And Git was one of the locations where you could support it, and she said that's the bulk of where she gets it, from fellow coders and whatnot. So
mhm. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you think about like what's involved in the project and how agile it has to be. So I think like the moral of the story is even if something says like free and open source, if it's not from like so like for example, Prusa Slicer, open source. Does Prusa need your money to develop Prusa Slicer? Probably not,
No,
because
they would like you to buy a printer
yeah,
though.
that's how you could sponsor them, is buy a printer, right? Kira, same thing, right? Does Kira need your money to buy or make Kira? No, but you could buy a Ultimaker printer.
Yep.
However, Kira actually is a weird one because you can actually buy it now.
And
So
that's a good segue because Kira 5.5 is out.
is it a Segway? It didn't have wheels.
Ah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Kira 5.5 is now officially out.
Yes.
And they added a bunch of stuff and a bunch of bug fixes. And so let me just find the link because I had it open so I wouldn't have to look for it.
Um,
And
the
here it is.
there's
Yeah, I have it here.
yay.
Hey, oh, except I grabbed the wrong tab. So I
Boo.
can't read it. So yeah, so they have
Why are
they
you so loud all of a sudden?
I don't know. Am I too loud?
Now you're
I don't
better.
think. Okay, maybe I leaned in.
Well,
So the new features and improvements are that they have engine plugins that are now can be developed. They had plugins before, but now I think they've really kind of gone for the gusto on how you can develop them and implement them. You can add a whole bunch of new features with these add-ons and whatnot. They have a number of new settings enabled. Gradual flow is one. Initial layer maximum flow and acceleration. So they have a whole bunch of new little top surface feature stuff. So they've added a lot to it. I haven't gone through all of it, but
mm-hmm.
yeah, there are group outer walls, which is interesting. I'm not sure what it will bundle types of walls in the same layer, reducing travels. Interesting. So they've been implementing a lot of new features, and there's a lot of bug fixes. So interface looks mainly the same, but yeah. So I'm gonna have to try it out. I haven't tried it out yet. So
I
if you
think
are into Kira, then just thought we'd let you know.
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
The biggest deal actually in 5.5 is developer support. So they actually let you touch the inner workings, so to speak, of the software. So if you're a developer, you can develop literally in any language, right? So if you're a Python person to something like gross Ruby, boo. Java, even it's just worse than Ruby. If you if you develop, you can use that to touch parts of the engine, and those parts are the G code generation, the infill patterns, extrusion paths, and there's some settings that you can listen to. So like it's taking, which is weird because it goes against kind of like their paid model.
Is it almost an API?
So
kind of
it's as close as you can get to API without being API.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking from the sounds of how the interaction happens.
Generally speaking, like API access is driven like not through direct programming, where this is direct. So like
yeah, okay.
There's some sort of maintenance hatch, shall we call it. But like yeah, like it's huge, right? If you could write a script that does like in Python that modifies the G code for every layer to say trigger the camera or something like that, or
well they had some ways you could do certain things in the past that were a little more difficult than other slicers to, if you wanted to do something at a specific layer, like, or every so many layers and whatnot, you had to like
Yeah, they
when
had the
you're
post processing. They still
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Um,
but it wasn't. This sounds a lot
mhm.
more in depth than that.
Yeah.
That was like a kind of a kludgy hack. Like you can make it do this if you do this, and this
Yeah.
sounds like someone will design a fairly well, thought out, process, and then implement it
Mhm.
in a plugin that you can just turn on.
Yeah.
So that which is a lot nicer. So
Well, and we've talked about Orca Slicer, before on the I forget when it was, like a month ago, but we talked about Orca Slicer, or last week we were talking about or 2 weeks ago it was Super Slicer we were chatting about,
yeah,
and someone's like, oh yeah, it's going back into development soon, and Ray brings up the point too, right now that uh, they are just they're trying to catch up,
and
uh,
that's true. That's valid. I think they went through some um, growing pains, and they because they were acquired, right? So the two companies merged, and I think there was kind of a during during any of that time in a company, certain things suffer when when you do have a switchover like that,
mhm,
and so I think they're now getting back into the swing of things. So
yeah.
hopefully we'll see some new innovations and whatnot, and hopefully they'll maybe with now that maybe they'll re-embrace the open source community and can they'll always still have their commercial side, but Prusa has their commercial side too. So I'm hoping maybe they'll take more of a Prusa stance and allow the community to develop and make their product better, kind of thing.
Raymond's taking the dig. I'll take it. At least they're trying on like simplified 3D.
Oh, Ray.
Wah wah wah. Uh, yeah, right. Like, and Kira is still like, it's not like it's like, I wouldn't call it the leader right now, but it is still
It's
like,
still
it's
solid.
still solid and it's still
Uh,
relevant.
I,
It's
I,
But
I
there's
mean,
other more solid.
I haven't used bamboo because I don't have a bamboo,
You don't need
uh,
to have bamboo
and
to
I
use
have
bamboo.
not used orca, which is the fork of bamboo, right? Is what
Mm-hmm.
orca
Mm-hmm.
is. So I haven't used that one either. So maybe I'm just gonna have to delve into some different slicing and whatnot because
Mm.
yeah, I haven't been really slicing too much lately. So I gotta
Like,
get back into it.
honestly, this is what I kind of like mm, think of, like orca or bamboo. It's like if Kira and Prusa got together and had a baby slicer. It has good parts like of both that everybody would enjoy. Um, so Raymond posted a thing, and to be clear, I do. We do not. Before I show, I just want to make sure. To be clear, we do not endorse funding Kickstarters. Okay, so like Kickstart at your own risk. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
If you know anything about Kickstarters, you know that sometimes they're not reliable or they don't fund. But however, I don't know that about this company. That's just a general disclaimer. But bam, Raymond posted this while we were talking about some of the other stuff before this. But we talk a little bit about multi-material. Sometimes we have the palette, and then we're talking about the is it the AMU? Is that what they call it on the bamboo?
AMS.
AMS, right. And then the MMU is Prusa's. But there's this co-print. It's called co-print chroma set. And it, if you scroll down a little bit, you can figure out what it actually is. Hold on. And it's a multi-material printing solution. Just let me get there. Boom! Here's what it looks like right here. So we have this chroma head, and then this can be attached to any kind of printer carriage, and it takes 4 filaments in through the tubes, and you can see behind they have some more filaments. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors sitting there. But basically, what it does is it's kind of actually like the palette, except it doesn't fuse the filament, so it's cutting it and then sending the new filament down the extrusion path when it's time to change. So it's a little bit different than let's say like the original like 3-color printheads. I forget what that one project was called. But
yeah,
what it, because what those did is it pull the filament out without cutting, right? There was no clean break between one and the other. It would pull it out, and whatever you were left with inside, that's kind of like what was there. And then
it's like he's building his own AMS.
It is, and the cut on this system makes it more efficient than pulling, because you don't have to worry about the full out. Sometimes during the purge on those other systems that would clog when you pulled out, where this one is true multi-material, and it can cut the filament, which means you get clean extrusions at the end when it switches filament. So it's pretty cool.
It's interesting. He did kind of one of those plots where they tried to place their stuff against the palette versus the AMS versus AnyMaker V6 and Voron and Prusa MMU. It's kind of interesting.
It's a cool looking system. Again, don't in like Kickstarters is kick at your own risk, but it definitely, like, looking at this, like, he's got, looks like full 6 on that hot end, which is cool. And then there's like a little brain, and it is an add-on, right? So it looks like you can snap stuff on easily to,
it's basically it's clipperifying any printer and then adding a multi-material.
Yeah,
it looks interesting, but as Ray said, it's not cheap.
Let's see how much it won't tell me. Hello, Kickstarter. Okay, let's see how much.
There's different prices for different.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to the highest here because that's one. What we got? 449 Canadian dollars gets you the early bird, which is like the screen, couple steppers, and the actual extruder. Let's see, is there more? Oh, 8. No, there you go. $900 gets you 2 chroma sets, and then $600 gets you the KMC. So like it is legit buying a new printer for it.
Yeah. So and if I'm gonna spend $8.99, I think I would spend my money on a Bamboo, because this is Kickstarter. It's not proven yet until it fully launches and it's been proven out.
They are getting funding, though. I will say that. Like,
it looks promising, right? And I think once they launch and actually, go through and actually show that people are using it and everything, then yeah.
I mean, it looks cool, but again, like, multi. So there's 2 kinds of multi, right? There's multi-filament and multicolor, right? And so like that one was touting itself as multi-filament.
And it's kind of interesting that they've divided it out. Like, you can do the clipper way, or the chroma set way.
Mm-hmm.
So they, with a standard printer or a clipper based printer, like, they do break it out a bit, and they say they support up to 20 filaments.
I'd love to see how many tubes that would take.
Oh man,
your printhead would hardly move. Just a Voron kit. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, the problem with a lot of the MMU stuff is It legit costs that much to make it. Like it's
Well,
basically a printer without the bed, right?
I understand what they're doing, like, right? Because if I have a printer sitting here and then I see all this new stuff with color printing and whatnot, I want to try that, right? Well, this gives people a way to do it if they're not into either building their own printer or they can't afford to buy a whole new printer. They could buy the more basic kit to do it. So I get it.
Is it
I don't know.
I guess the question, like, again, it comes back to like what you're after, right? Like, because you can go and buy a new printer, you can do that stuff for sure, but you can also, if you were looking for a multi-material, then you buy a printer that has some sort of MMU, AMS, or that thing, or palette, right? Like, and those all cost as much as at least an entry line printer nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go to, like, for example, I'm not promoting them.
Whoa, he's promoting them right now.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, oh no, it's Bamboo Labs.
Right now, he's looking up feed for pandas.
Shh. Shh. Pandas are endangered.
This is a weird site. What do you mean pandas are us?
So just going into the store to have a look, just get an idea. Like, if you got the new A1 bamboo with their small AMS and everything, which kind of looks like what that guy was trying to do. So if you get the mega combo, which has every little thing known to man in it, it's $666 Canadian, and that gives you the AMS Lite. It'll get you, so that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, and a printer and everything, and replacement heads. If you just get it, if you just want the printer without the AMS, it's $389. So for $600, you get an AMS unit and everything that will do. So, and they've kind of done it similarly to what this guy did. When you look at how they've implemented it. So.
Yeah, or he did something similar to them. It's always tough to know. I mean,
I think they've released this a while ago, so I'm not. But yeah, so it's, I don't know, which way would you go if you had to choose the Kickstarter, which there's no guarantee you get all the stuff from the Kickstarter, to adapt your old printer to do multi-material, and put it in the comments or throw it in chat. We want to know, would you want to spend $600 on a whole system that's from a company that's been around for a while, that's been really innovating, or support a Kickstarter? I'm leaning towards the bamboo in that case.
I mean, Kickstarting's always a thing.
It can be risky. I've gotten a bunch of stuff from Kickstarter over the years, and I've never been kind of hooped on that. But
yeah,
except once when Pebble was bought out by Fitbit, and then I didn't. I got a full refund, but I didn't get what I wanted.
So Dominic says, I'll just learn how to paint, which is true. But then Ray says you have to look at it from like his wife's perspective, which is true, because it depends how mass manufacturing you're doing things. Because like for her, if she had to like print it all and paint it all, then it would be like, oh, I like, yeah. If a multi-material unit has enough colors for you to produce your product, and you're producing many of them, then yeah, it's the way to go.
Yeah.
If you're printing one thing to hang on your shelf, is it worth $800, or painting, which So painting generally looks better in the end, but like MMU can catch up. And the reason I say painting looks better is because you can color match like 100%. You can make paint any color, right? But you can only buy certain colors of filament, even if they're Pantone or whatever. Yeah. So I'm on the fence. I don't know if I'd buy one. Tell you the truth, I'd probably gravitate towards like the AMS if I was going to get multi-material.
I know you wanted what was the one-armed printer that you really wanted?
Ender 2.
Ender 2. Yeah. Get the Bamboo A1, David. That is the
I saw
upgraded
that
version.
Yeah, I saw that little guy. I was like, that'd be perfect. But that aside, it's good to have a system that can do multi-material, not just multi-filament.
Yeah.
Right. Which requires your slicer to play along nice because you'll have to change temperatures when you switch. There was an example, and I don't know why they put it on the site, of like it was a Tesla truck, and they're like, check this out, and then it's like showing all the materials, but like it's like the tires are TPU. I'm like, there's no way you're gonna change TPU like for the tire while it's printing and print it in place. Like you're gonna print the tires after and that kind of stuff, right? Because the sheer amount of like
I want to see a bit. I want to see a video of them printing that in ABS, PLA, carbon fiber, TPU, and PETG. I want to see the video of them doing that. I think from scratch. Like if they can actually do that, I'm amazed, and I want to see that video as well.
If I remember correctly, so Dominic posted in there and amongst the comments there, I got burned by a Sunlu Kickstarter. I want to say it was for their filament heater. I think I remember him ordering one of those, and like lots of people got like not burned by the filament heater itself, but like by the product on Kickstarter. And the other thing with Kickstarter is why are companies like Sunlu or Creality or bigger companies using it just for promotion? It doesn't make sense.
It has become like, this looks like a legitimate Kickstarter, right? Like use. It's not a company that is just launching a product, right?
Yeah.
This looks like someone who wants to, they're in early stages of development, need some funding to finish it off and whatnot, which is what Kickstarter was originally intended for. Whereas, as like you said, the last couple of years, there's been full-fledged products, whether it's the K1, whether it's Bamboo, whether it's whoever, they've used it to be the promotion of their product. It's a promotion site, not a Kickstarter site.
Yeah.
So,
and Ray brings up a valid point too, where what you purchase for MMU or multi-material or whatever, AMS palette will depend on the printer you have.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's so that's why I'm saying, like, this one might be good for people who have 3 or 4 printers and whatnot, and they don't want to buy a whole nother printer, and they want to add on multi-material. It might be good, but again, I think it's they're doing a lot of things supporting everything from Clipper to whatnot, so I just hope they have the resources to maintain it and really refine it, because it could be a really solid product.
Well, they definitely don't look like the Peachy printer, so that's we all remember that guy. I wonder what he's up to these days.
I don't know. Is he out of jail? I don't know.
Did he ever go to jail?
I don't know. I don't know
if he did.
I don't know if he did.
That's a pretty big one, but hey,
yeah,
whatever.
He built a house.
Good for him. I've always said that people should steal their Kickstarter money, and no, don't do that. No. But yeah, I know a few people just, on the topic, and then we'll switch. But like, I know a few people that got burned. I know a few people that got their stuff. So, and like lots of people I know order like board games or gadgets, and those all show up. Minus the drone that tried to kill the guy that bought it. That was pretty funny. But so we shall leave Kickstarter in the dust. Thanks for showing us that link, Ray. It's definitely cool looking. It sparks some thought.
You had another thing on your list there, David.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a month.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking of the new Thingiverse?
First off, did anybody notice it changed?
Oh, we talked about it though.
We did. The biggest change was like the font.
No.
And the search is more fuzzy.
Yeah.
It seems.
I don't know. It's snappier. It's definitely not as timeout slowy as it used to be.
Yep.
So it's snappier.
They've definitely rebranded it to be, I think, in line with their new
product line.
Yeah, product line and branding. Just like the fonts changed. It's easier. It's easier to see like if it's what license it carries for Creative Commons, but then it also, like, I don't know like about you, Greg, but I don't remember all of the symbols all of the time, or even like if it says CC BY NC what does that mean, right? Well, right. And it's nice they've changed that with the descriptions underneath it now, so you're like, oh, it means I have to attribute no derives and non-commercial. I know what that means. I can do that, right? But people just ignore that anyway and print their stuff and try to sell it on Swap and Buy. And that's stupid. But so that's there, and it is a lot faster. The search works a lot better, except there is something that happened, and that's the sheer amount of ads on the page increased. So there are more ads in Thingiverse
on the main page. Once you do a search, like I did a search, I just put in kind of my handle on there just to see if it would actually find my stuff, and it found all my stuff.
You typed in my handle?
Like, no, Eggy the Tech. I went Eggy the Tech just to see, because that's my my handle on Thingiverse, and yeah, I brought up all my prints and stuff.
I love it. Like, and it looks good. Like it does. It looks like it works better. This does ads inside the products, but it's like one banner ad once you get in. Actually, no, that's a lie. I see like 6 there. Crazy. Anyway, ads are everywhere. So like for me personally, like I did poke in and out of Thingiverse, and sometimes you just have to, because like, let's face it, Thingiverse has been around for like 15 years or so. I forget what it was actually, maybe 10, but like it's been around, and it has a lot of models. So if you strike out the other kind of modeling places, then you can come here. But I actually, spoiler alert, I use printables, Prusa's Thingiverse more than I do Thingiverse.
Absolutely, I do as well. But I mean, it just depends. Like,
it really does. Sometimes Yagi is your answer.
Sometimes it's just design it yourself. It really depends, right?
So. Yeah, it's true, and it's there are sites that do credit model makers a little better than Thingiverse as well, so some people gravitate towards those. Just share the love.
What's in the chat? Okay, what's your go-to model? If you need a model for something, are you going to design it? Are you going to search? Are you going to, and if you search, what's your go-to first search? Just curious.
Oh, you want them to put it in the chat. You said what's in the
Yeah.
chat. I'm like,
No,
there's
no, no,
nothing in
no.
the chat.
Put it in the chat. Like post in the chat. Like
Got it.
what are your spots? Like, do you design it yourself?
Yeah.
What's your go-to model repository? You know, that sort of thing.
So
Search model.
That's a good question.
Search first, model later.
So Dominic asked if it still has like the customize built into printables, and I don't know that it does, honestly. I'm just checking right now on the side of their site. I don't see the option. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
It
but I
could be.
don't think
It
that
could depend on which model, though.
Yeah, so Fangs is a good option. It's quick, it's easy. It's it works.
What's the bamboo one?
I forget that one because I don't use it. Honestly, I probably will never use it because that's the one that's stealing models. So my support won't go there. But like Thangs is a good one. It's kind of an aggregate searcher too. Printables is pretty good. Like we said, Thingiverse. My Mini Factory, it's okay, but and again, if you're looking for high quality like mini figs and stuff, it's your end all be all, and you can buy really good models there. If I need something, I do a quick Google search. If it comes up, then I go there. If nothing else, then I make it myself.
Ray says it's called Maker World.
Yeah, Maker World. Yeah, so like, it's.
And Ray, did they integrate Maker World into the bamboo slicers so that you can just like?
It was coming.
Was that one of the things that they were trying to do? Yeah, it's very Prusa looking.
Oh yeah, this is just a ripoff of their page.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were supposed to hook it up through the app, right? And Thingiverse works through several different apps as well. My Mini Factory had their app to direct print. I don't know if it ever went anywhere, but they all had that. I think that when like I agree with lots of people, like the Google searching is usually good, or Yagi is good.
Yeah,
too.
I will use Yagi sometimes just
It's
to
just everything.
That way I can see, because I used to have to use Yagi to find stuff on Thingiverse because the Thingiverse search was so bad.
Yeah, or you'd have to use like the aggregated Google search where you like type in thingiverse.com, then hit space, and then you type what you want to search. And it would work that way. But there's one more thing, and then I gotta push buttons. But
right, so pushing buttons.
That's our thoughts on Thingiverse. Meh. Okay. So the last kind of topic that I wanted to talk about was it's relatively recently, it's like last few weeks, but Anycubic. Wah wah wah. So it's specific to their new Cobra 2 printer. But if you signed up for the new Cobra 2 printer or purchased one, right, and registered for it, they sent out an email that said, hey, we're delaying the launch of the product, which is sad. Aw, right? I want my stuff. You want your stuff? I want my stuff. However, the sadder part of the email was the part that said after we were delaying, oh, and by the way, we lost all of the emails for the pre-orders, and that has been leaked to somewhere.
No,
they had a data leak.
So basically, they got crypto lockered, and they this is my assumptions, people. I'm not saying this is what happened. They got crypto lockered. They didn't want to pay, couldn't pay, whatever, through their insurance or whatever. So all the stuff got leaked. They couldn't recover it, and that's why it was delayed. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's tough to say, but data leak, data exfiltration, right? All that stuff. Like it can be, it could,
It's
it
an
could
Ender.
not be
It's an
ransomware.
Ender 3 Neo, people.
It is. Spoiler alert. It's an Ender 3 Neo, but it has dual rail Y carriage, so like the bed's on 2 rails instead of 1. Whoa. But um
It's still an Ender 3 Neo.
and this just goes back to like no, I don't see any of our EU friends here, but um we have to be leery, and like I don't know about you, Greg, but like I have burner email accounts for companies I don't trust, so then I can
Yeah.
just use that, and then make sure that I don't man, they put the comments behind it, the emoji, and I can't read Ray's comment. Maybe this
Okay.
Anycubic will work, it says.
Hey. I
That's,
have an Anycubic and it works.
I have one too, and it works actually, and
So
there's 2 more out there.
here's the thing. Maybe their old Anycubics work.
But
Hey Gary.
Hey Gary, the data breach with Anycubic is concerning because it can happen to any company, and there's not a lot you can do about it. But
Yeah, and they may have breached my info. I don't know.
And you can check it, right? You can check if your information is out in the wild. The website's called Have I Been Pwned? If you wanted to see if you're involved in a data breach, it'll show up there when you type your email in. But I think, like, so looking at Anycubic, this isn't the first time Anycubic has had such a problem. And it won't be the last time. Like frankly, as a company, they kind of just rush things out to get them out, and then they're kind of shooting from the hip when it comes to like marketing and stuff too. So I don't know what the absolute answer is because you can't actually, like, if you want the product, you got to give them information so you're trusting them. And since some of their let's just say probably most of their like email servers and marketing stuff aren't in places where they're governed by like European or North American like privacy law, right? And so losing emails is bad, but there's not a lot of recourse. So it's a blind leap of faith sometimes, but we have to make it. I'll push a button.
All right, let's thank these people. These people make stuff happen for us all the time. So thank you for supporting us on Patreon. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/3dmakeit. You make things happen. If you do join us on Patreon, you get access to our Patreon Discord, and we do our monthly get together with our patrons, which I believe is next Sunday, David. Right?
Yes. I think that's what we're doing next Sunday.
So next Sunday we're doing our Patreon. So if you want to join us live on the stream, feel free to join us there. And don't forget the other places you can get in touch with us. You can go to 3dmakeit.ca. And that is our website with all things 3D Make It. You can get all the details of our latest contest, which is sponsored by Spool 3D. So, yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, do the things. And as we're getting to the wrap-up phase, which we are getting to, just a reminder, we talked about it last week, but I would like to just throw back out there that we indeed are moving our time to what we currently started at. There was a discussion actually on the Discord as well. Somebody had requested, hey, why don't we go back to this time? And this is the original time we streamed at, 2 years ago. So basically we went back to it. So it's 10 Mountain Time. But it was about an hour before right now is when we started. So look for that change, mark it in your calendars, text all your friends.
And we hardly ever do this, but if you want to give us the thumbs up, if you liked what you see here, give the like. The YouTube gods smile on us when you do that. So if you do like it, please, click the little thumbs up.
We must pay tribute to the YouTube overlords. But we do appreciate all you guys do, and we're glad we can hang out with you.
Absolutely.
So again, remember that we're it's 10 o'clock Mountain Time, or whatever time it was your time an hour ago.
Well, I figured it out. It's 5 p.m. UTC.
Yeah, that tracks. Yep. UTC, it'll burn you every time. But
so if you follow UTC time, we'll see you at 5 p.m. on Sunday.
I mean, it is a group of nerds, so I'm sure they can follow us on UTC time.
It's all good. So.
But
yeah, I also updated our website to reflect the fact that we are starting at 10 o'clock now.
Yeah.
So, and then hopefully the time change for all of us here in Alberta and wherever you have time changes didn't go too badly for everyone. I know I screwed up all my people in my house by changing the clocks early.
Jerk. That's awesome. That's amazing, because then they're like, oh, we got to set them back again.
Yeah.
Did they go back twice?
No. I set them all, and then when they woke in the morning, they were the right time. But then they also were like, "Wait a minute! I thought it was 7 o'clock."
Yeah, 6. We keep trying to get rid of this time change. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Boo.
Texatech is in Saskatoon, so Saskatchewan does not change time. Which, if they had put the correct version of the time change on our referendum we had in the last election, we wouldn't be changing time either, but they put the wrong one.
Honestly, I don't care which one it is, just don't change it anymore.
Yeah, but if they put Mountain Daylight, then that wouldn't be good. Like, it should just be everyone, because Saskatchewan's on the Central Standard, so we should be an hour off of Saskatchewan, so that's Mountain Standard, right? And then BC should be on Pacific Standard, and then we're done. We don't change.
I mean, Berta is all kinds of screwed up, so it makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, that time's gonna be kind of the permanent thought for the foreseeable future now.
Yep.
But we're, oh goodness, 7 p.m. in Kiev, I think.
Oh, thanks, Dominic.
Whoa, that's extreme. So we're going to wrap things up here, but next week look for the Patreon link in Discord or on Patreon itself. Yep. And then we'll do some StreamYard or something, depending on how many show up.
Yeah.
All right. So until next week, friends, have a good one.
Bye.
We'll see you later.